watching this video, I want to say that this topic is easier said than done. What I'm gonna say is going to sound very simplistic, but I know what you're feeling right now. You are feeling very anxious because you know you need help, and that's amazing that you're taking the step to talk to your parents or your loved ones about your mental health. It's very important. I want you to know that anxiety about this conversation and being anxious is a completely normal reaction to have this conversation, to think about it. The fear of not knowing how they're going to react. I also want you to know that there's no shame in talking about your mental health, regardless of the way your loved ones react. If this conversation doesn't go well, I want you to know to never give up on yourself and to always be an advocate for yourself, because if you need help and your loved ones are not the ones to give you help, be your best advocate. You know the kind of help that you need. Get that help, regardless of the way this conversation goes. I want you to know that starting now. But anyway, this video is... Preparation is so important when it comes to having this conversation. What I want you to do first is I want you to think about, why do you think you need help? What you are feeling right now is completely valid, and I'm not invalidating what you're feeling. Your parents are going to ask that question, so that's why I want you to know the answer to that question. Why do you think you need help? It's absolutely possible for someone underage to need mental health help. Fact: 1 in 5 children ages 13 to 18 have a serious mental illness. 20% of youth live with a mental health condition. 11% have mood disorders. 10% have behavior or conduct disorders. And 8% of youth have anxiety disorders. 50% of all lifetime cases of mental illness begin by age 14 and 75% by age 24. 50% of students age 14 and older with a mental illness drop out of school. Suicide is the third leading cause of death in youth 10 to 14, and 90% of students who commit suicide have an underlying mental health condition. What does all this mean? You are not alone. Don't be a statistic. Reach out for help. So why do you think you need help? Is it the thoughts that you're feeling? Is it the actions you are doing? Parents are going to ask this question. You need to have the answer. Know a general idea of what you are asking for when you go into this conversation. Your parents are not perfect people. I want you to know that. No one is perfect in this world, so they might not know what to do. So do some research ahead of time on things that you feel like you need. Do you need a therapist? Do you need to go to a doctor to be referred to a therapist? Do you need an eating disorder specialist? Are you afraid you might hurt yourself right now or others, or have hurt yourself and need to go to the emergency room? All of these options are okay. Whatever you feel like you need right now, whatever you feel, if you need like a specialist, if you need to go to the doctor, that's a great starting point. Start there. Start somewhere. I want you to think about the many ways this conversation can go. It could go very, very well, and your parents could react great and get you help, and it will be great. And I really truly hope that happens for you. It happened to me, but I've talked to multiple of my loved ones, and I've had different experiences with both. I've had a parent be absolutely understanding to me, and then I had another parent who was in denial, who never wanted to get me help, and it was really hard for them to talk about mental health because they were suffering with it themselves. So it was very hard to talk about with them. So please be aware that it might not go the way you think it will, and that's okay. Parents and loved ones are not perfect, but you need to be an advocate for yourself, and you still need to get that help. I'm hoping that these tips help you for a good conversation, to make it go smoothly and to help your parents through it and to help you, because that's important. Is the most important thing right now is to get you help. It's not their reaction. The most important thing is that you are safe and that you get help regardless of what kind of help you need. And you need to remind your parents that. You also need to be aware that their initial reaction might not be their overall reaction. With my other family member, they were in denial for a few hours, would not talk to me, and then when they calmed down, came back, apologized for their reaction, and we had the conversation. There's so many ways that this conversation could go. Be prepared for both. Practice having the conversation. Practice what you're going to say. Maybe get some misconceptions of what you're talking about. Maybe just practice, have some flashcards in front of you of answers and responses that most popular questions that they could have. So be prepared and practice the conversation. Make time for this conversation. Don't go into it with only 20 minutes and then you're out the door. It might take a little bit longer than that. It might take a little bit less than that. What I would do is I would go up to mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandma, whoever you are doing this with, and say, hey mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandma, whoever, I really need to talk to you about something important and I would like to set some time aside today to talk about it. What time would be good for you? If they say right now, you're gonna jump into this conversation right now. If they say later, then you have more time to practice the conversation. Be in a comfortable environment. Don't be somewhere where there's a lot of people, a lot of things going on. Be somewhere where it's quiet, that you feel comfortable and that they feel comfortable in, because this is a very uncomfortable conversation, so you need to be comfortable. How I would start off this conversation would be asking my parents about their experiences with mental health or mental illness. This could be a really good icebreaker, as well as a time to get to know if mental illness runs in your family. I think that's really important to know. The next step is I would just come out and say it. Say, I have been struggling lately with X, Y, and Z, and I really need some help. They're gonna ask a lot of questions like how long you've been feeling this way, what kind of help, how can I support you? Have all those answers ready so you can answer them. Or a completely valid answer could be, I don't know, and I really need some help finding out what I need. Together, you guys can get help. Sometimes this conversation, you feel anxious to have it face to face, and I get that, it's so hard. Some alternatives could be writing everything down and then giving that letter to them an hour before the conversation, so they have time to absorb what you were telling them, and then they could come back and have a rational conversation with you. You can do it over text message. You can email them, you could write it down and just hand it over. You can do FaceTime, you can call them on the phone. You can do so many things that takes away that face-to-face interaction that you might be having anxiety over. If things don't really work out the way you think they are, I really, truly hope this conversation goes well for you. I really, truly do, because you need help, and to have that support system would be so great. To the people where the conversation does not go well, because parents aren't perfect, there are other resources out there that can help you. You could talk to a teacher, a school counselor, or a religious leader about it. There are other resources online for online free counseling, and I will leave them down below if you just need a place to vent. There are online support groups, there's online support systems, communities of people just like you trying to reach out for help. Like Kristen is a place like that. You guys are so amazing down in the comments every week, and I love it how supportive you guys are of each other. There are also self-help books that you can read. Watching mental health content could help you as you wait to get that help, because therapy is ultimately the best type of help. I really hope this video helps someone out there. I try to make it as realistic as possible, because I know that there are many situations out there on the internet. I don't know you personally, but I really do care about you. And I really, truly hope this conversation with your parents or your loved ones or whoever goes well. My prayers are with you. I want to let you know that. If you guys would like to follow me on any of my social media for any mental health content throughout the week, I post every day on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and my Instagram. So if you'd like to follow me on there, it's right here. So go check that out. I love you guys. Please stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.